Hello folks, it's Apocalypse 6, back with another 4-color Loam video. This hand is relatively weak. I'm going to keep it because it has a chalice. There's a very strong argument for mulliganing this sort of hand. Okay, looks like we're up against Miracles. So now we have the option of playing Chalice on 1 or using Wasteland and playing Deathrite Shaman. I think I actually like this a little bit more. There's a pretty decent chance that the opponent does have another land to play next turn. But I don't want this Deathrite to be stuck in my hand. But also if the opponent, I don't know, uses removal on this Deathrite, it's not as big of a deal. We also have 2 mana next turn unless the opponent interacts with us. Okay, this Deathrite's being forced. Which is... I have no idea why the opponent would want to do this. That could have just been a dead card in our hand had we played this Chalice. So to see it take 2 cards from the opponent is better than I could have hoped for. The downside, of course, is we don't have to play this turn. Opponent seems to be actively looking for land. That's my hunch. If they had everything they wanted, I feel like they wouldn't be burning cantrips when they had a top in play. But they also didn't shuffle, so I guess maybe they found what they were looking for. I'm going to play this Chalice on 1 because I think this is my best chance to resolve a 2-drop here. The opponent has to blindly see a Counterbalance or a Snapcaster, and they have 1 of each used already. So 6 out of 46 cards if they're not playing Predict. That's, I don't know, 13 to 20% that this resolves. Great. Now we're still in a potentially bad spot. Like if the opponent slams Jason Pluses here and we don't draw land, we're not doing too great. Ow. Okay. Mainboard back to basics. Really hurts. So we can We can play out the Gaddock Teeg. That's one option. Then we're, I guess, a black source and a decay away from answering the back to basics. There isn't any other line here that, I guess we can play a Bob and start drawing 2 cards per turn. Yeah, I guess let's go ahead and do that. We give up both of our lands. Teeg prevents us from actively losing the game to anything that isn't Mentor. I think there's a pretty decent chance the opponent might have like a Jace or something, and this way we're 1 mana away from playing the Bob next turn. I'm not the most optimistic person ever about us getting out of this situation. Although, to be fair, the opponent's also in a pretty bad spot if this falls. That sucks. So the opponent actually doesn't have any spells and can't use the top, so I'm going to play out this Dark Confidant. Excellent. So now the vast majority of the cards that my opponent could draw either trigger Monastery Mentor or do something on their own, and sometimes none of the above. I'm actually kind of tempted to play out this library, just because it's gonna get us to see so many more cards. And the opponent again knows that. Well, we know that there isn't a 2-drop in the top 2 cards. We'll get Plateau as least desirable duel. So I'd say my opponent is incentivized to cast spells into the Chalice to make mentor tokens, and the fact that my opponent just played a land that passed last turn means that the cards currently on top are not even, they're not 1-drops. They might be like Jaces and Termini. Our opponent does, of course, get to see a new card every single turn, so this isn't a permanent situation. But for now, we're actually in a decent spot. This is interesting. I think I'm just going to play out Dryad Arbor. Next turn, I might use neither Reliquary to find Abrupt Decay, or to find a black source for the eventual Abrupt Decay, to sort of free up that path. Or, well, I'll get to see 2 more new cards next turn. So the plan might very well change. Pretty sure I put it back the other way, but that's okay too. I think I made a mistake by playing the Bayou instead of the white source. I might have given my opponent an extra turn here. Okay, so I stacked that correctly, at least. Excellent. So I think if my opponent had land cards, they would have been playing them, although 6 is probably the maximum my opponent wants to have in play anyway. Excellent. So we got rid of the top. Imagine this is being forced now. No, it's resolving. My opponent feels pressure to start activating Mentor, I guess. Or maybe my opponent just has an answer to something here. Yeah, I mean, it's a little hard to think of a main board answer to this situation. There could, of course, be like Fencers or something in the deck. Wasteland, excellent. And here's the decay. Now I guess I want to wait one more turn. Yeah, I'll wait. Play out the Wasteland and then wait one more turn. Or not. There's no targets. I might actually be better off discarding this to Mox Diamond at a later stage in the game. Perfect. Yeah, I'm just letting this happen. Excellent. I guess my opponent saw the writing on the wall. So the sideboard against Miracles has been changing a little bit. Maybe I've been cutting cards from it. I used to have, I don't know, 8 cards I could board in, maybe even 10. At this point it's just these 5. I think the matchup is really good. It's heavily in our favor. So there's not a ton that I want to change. And this sideboard strategy sort of reflects that. I'm thinking about cutting this extra second Wasteland over this Punishing Fire. Punishing Fire makes us better against better against what? Better against Mentor and other creatures. There's also the consideration of like, should we bring in Marin for like the super grindy games? We'll go ahead and say no. Also, Mox Diamond is not good in the late game, but I'm going to keep it in because I saw main board back to basics. Excellent. Just to ponder. Even better, nothing. Is my opponent going to force this Mox Diamond? I've had that happen once or twice. Sometimes it's really devastating if you just happen to have relied on this card. Sometimes it's an okay tempo play out of tempo deck. Sometimes it's just a waste of a Force of Will. In fact, that's what it is, like fairly frequently, especially out of a control deck. I also don't think this. I mean, this brainstorm isn't significantly better informed than just a main phase brainstorm on my opponent's turn, right? Okay, so my opponent, I guess, is forcing this. I'm not going to stop them. I'd really love it if they also forced the first Thalia. You know, while they're at it. Sure, I guess. Just for fun, I'm going to check my opponent's rating. I think this is higher than mine. At some point I was decent, and I don't play rated games, so this is somewhere between decent and good. My opponent is surgicaling my Windswept Heaths? Why? Oh, surgicaling my Mox Diamond. That's fine. I'm expecting a Blood Moon or worse very soon. Cool. I'm going to lead into Wasteland. The opponent's not ever going to show me a non-basic anyway. And if I get to choose a land that doesn't untap, I'd rather it be the Wasteland. I'm wondering what my chances are to just combo kill my opponent here. By the way, my opponent kind of needs to determine this here in the next couple of turns. There it is. So Terminus now means that I guess I delayed the back to basics for one more turn. This is the second time I've had Miracles value Surgical like an answer card. I played a game where my opponent Surgicaled my Abrupt Decays because they brought in a bunch of Blood Moons and wanted to limit my answers. And then now I got my Mox Diamonds forced and then Surgicaled. That's pretty cool. Let's see, I guess I can play into the back to basics by setting up, by using Loam this turn, or I can play around it by just playing a Gaddock Teeg. Guess I'll play around it for now. That's a good sign. So I think if it didn't happen last turn, it's not going to happen this turn. Thalia. Interesting. There wasn't anything that Thalia was stopping my opponent from playing. So I'm really curious as to why that happened. My opponent is getting aggressive. Targeting surgical extraction. Oh yeah, you can have my loam. That's... You know what? I pay your 2 life. I'm gonna blow you out with the thing you know about. The loam's a 1 of. but I'm not even gonna let my opponent do this. Yeah, I mean, for the record, had my opponent succeeded, I really, really wouldn't mind. The worst case scenario is I lose the chance to let's see. I lose the chance to get this cycle land going. Yeah, so you're going to play your spell. Oh no, you're searching for a spell. Oh, that's... You might want to get a duel there. Swords would be pretty good. But of course, my opponent... It seems like they actually don't have duels in this deck. Which is fine as well. I'm keeping up this Bayou for back to basics reasons. That's totally fine. So I would be dredging and cycling every turn, but I don't want to tap like so many lands against my opponent. Ghost Quarter here would be pretty sweet. My opponent has like only one more basic, probably. Although I guess if they're not playing duels at all, they might have more than that. So this is a click here? No, it's a swords. It's fine. I might turn the stage into either a forest or a plains. Excellent. Another card that's like relatively dead under a Punishing Firelock. What is my opponent doing with it? Alright. Seeing that last card down. Oh no, playing out the Sensei's Top. I'm just gonna copy my forest. Then Punishing Fire Jace. Is there a 2 on top? Because that would be pretty sweet. Of course there isn't. It's pretty sweet when the test spell is also a must counter. Not the biggest fan of putting my opponent up to 7. But free cards, yo. Okay, my opponent sees the writing on the wall. They're probably not doing anything, and I have a Bob going, Punishing Firelock, Loam going. Hope you guys found that entertaining. Yes, it's another example of that thing that I talk about every once in a while, of playing the way that D&T does against miracles. Of playing out 1 or 2 must-answer threats, and having a diversity of angles and all that kind of stuff. Just putting pressure on them makes it so that they can't sit back and search for angels, or sit back and like have the perfect storm off turn with Mentor. You're just you have them at like 8 or so life fairly quickly, and you're putting pressure on their mana base in whatever way you can, and you're out card advantaging them and then trading 1 for 1, and then you have lock pieces and stuff. Whereas just grinding them out is something that they're way better adjusted against, and this is something that's a common plan for this deck, just to grind them out, and that means it's basically the same as every bug deck ever, right? And the Miracles players already know how to do that, and the good ones even know that they're the aggro in this matchup. So the fact that we want to just sort of sit back and collect extra cards and be passive makes it easier for them to be aggressive. But when we're putting all this pressure, it makes it harder for them to be aggressive. All right, well, I hope that was entertaining.